What's up, Christ family? Welcome back to the channel where I story tell my experiences with God. And today I want to talk about how God, when He tells us that we are made in His own image, just how true that really is. Um, I wanna talk about how God feels just the way that we feel. He has emotions, just like us, and through the time of recovering from my car accident, as bad as it was, I never was angry at God for allowing what happened to me. I never blamed Him. I never, because there is a difference between God doing things and God allowing things to happen to you. And because a lot of times, like, God doesn't always do stuff, really to us. He really doesn't do things to us. He allows things to happen to us. But within that, He shows, if we seek Him, if we live for Him, He brings healing, through that stuff. Like, He will bring healing, and He will show you His goodness of, you know, why He's so good. And things aren't always going to be rainbows and sprinkles with God. Um, so he can restore us, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But I don't want to get too off track. But I never blame God. I was never um, mad at Him for just allowing a terrible thing to happen to me. But He made it for my goodness. He made it for my good. And out of just, I didn't ask for this dream. Because God wants us to have a relationship with Him, He wants us to have an experience with Him. He allowed me to feel His heart about the situation of what He allowed happen to me. And if you listen to my testimony, I talked about how God was giving me warnings to come out of what I was doing in the world. And I was very stubborn, and I wanted to do what I wanted to do. I didn't listen. And so, because of my disobedience, I had to pay the price of, the repercussions of that He allowed happen, to happen to me in my life. And He tried so many times before it had to get to a car accident that put me in the hospital. He tried so many times to get to me, and for it to not have to be something like my car accident. So He gave me a chance. He was having mercy on me, you know, but He loved me so much, just like He loves everybody else, because I want to be clear, what He done for me, He can do for you. I'm nobody special. So what God has done for me in my life, everything, He can do that same thing for you. My story just happens to be my story. I didn't want this story. I didn't want this testimony, but it's what He gave me. And I'm just choosing to share it with the world. As much as I really didn't want to come out of my shell and do that. But it's He deserves it. He deserves for me to tell His story that He did through me, to get other people to Christ, because it's not about me. And so um because He loved me, he went to the extremes to, to get me to Him. And He really let me feel His heart about, because of my disobedience, because of me choosing not to listen to Him. He let me feel His heart on how that disobedience, that behavior made Him feel. And so I got this like dream just randomly. It was just it was like a dream, almost like vision, but I was sleeping. And I basically seen Jesus in a corner, It was just a room, like, just a square room, like a nice sized room. And there were tables and like chairs and stuff. And he was sitting down on a chair and he was in a corner and he was just bawling his eyes out. Just bawling his eyes out. And when I came into this room, I seen him crying in the corner, like just like this, like just crying, just just literally like, you know, you could just you can see the tears coming out. You could hear him crying, like just hysterically, just crying uh with his face in his hands. And as I came into the room, not only did I notice him in the corner hysterically crying, but I also noticed that the room was filled with water that was up to my ankles. But it wasn't water, it was his tears. And that was pretty much the end of, the dream, the vision. And I just seen this. And God let me feel his heart. Like when I woke up from that, I felt this deep, deep sadness. Like his heart was so heartbroken, it was just so torn. And it made me feel so bad. Like I felt so bad because when you don't really know God, you don't know his character, you don't truly know him, you haven't had like an experience of him, you just, you believe in him, you don't really think that he has feelings. There's actually a lot of people, there's even some people who preach and teach that God doesn't feel. Like some people that are even saved, like I've heard believers say it and unbelievers that, oh, God doesn't feel. And no, he has emotions just like us. He got tears, he cried just like us. He feels just like us. All the emotions that we feel, he feels. He has those. um and he was so heartbroken, and it made me cry. Like it literally made me cry when I felt his heart, because I didn't know because of my disobedience, because of me wanting to do what I wanted to do, because I didn't want to seek him and heed his warning, because I simply just I didn't understand, and I didn't care to seek to understand. I just wanted to do me. I wanted to live my life. I wanted to do my will. And I just didn't care why he was even concerned and warning me, to stop doing the things that I was doing, because I just didn't understand it. I was just very stubborn. I didn't care. And I've never been like a heartless person. I have a big heart. I have a very big heart. Like a very big heart. um I love people. I'm the type of person that if I do something for, because I hate fakeness so much, like I can't stand fakeness. I can't do fake. I can't do fake. I can't do in the sense of go along to get along, but be fake. Like I could go along to get along, but I ain't gonna be fake with you. I'm not gonna be fake. I cannot do fake. I can't. God's had to kind of show me how to, because I be telling God, I'm like, when he had to do things to like transform me and everything, because I was the type of person like I I almost wore basically my emotions on my sleeve. Like if I don't like you, you would know. I didn't care. Like that's how I was. I didn't care, man. Like I wasn't a mean person. I wasn't a nasty person, but I'm just very real. I'm the type of person that if I do something for you, if I go out of my way for you, I'm genuinely doing that. Because if I don't like you, I ain't gonna do nothing for you. Like you maybe on a good day, you catch me on a good day, but for the most part, I just try to stay away from people that I don't like or I don't care for, type thing. And still in some ways, you kind of have to do that. 'Cause people just, we all know how the world is. And not all company is good company. But I just do it in a different way. I do it in a different way now. But yeah, like I have a very big heart. I have a very big loving heart. to where, you know, people have even taken advantage of my loving, caring heart, you know, in the past and stuff like that. But when I felt God's heart and how that made him feel, I just, I felt so bad, and I did cry. I did cry. I really cried. It was, he feels like we feel, y'all. He has feelings. He's slow to anger. He be slow to do things, you know, with how he does things now, because, you know, back in, you know, he be ready to, I wouldn't say pop off, but he be quick to do things a bit more sooner. But, you know, he's more patient, you know. Um and but yeah, I just wanted to make a quick, you know, just little short video that God feels the way that we feel. Like, he has feelings, and it broke his heart because of my disobedience, because he didn't want me to have to go through that. If you've watched my previous videos about how, you know, I ended up having like a weed addiction because I didn't want to be put on opioids, the hurt that I went through with family and friends, you know, like if you watched any of those previous videos, he didn't want me to experience that. He didn't want me to experience any of that hurt, and he didn't want me to have those injuries, let a, you know, go through the trauma that you go through when having such a bad car accident like that, and then the repercussions from it, and being in that type of pain, which led me to have depression, anxiety, um, mild PTSD, which led to other things like being addicted to weed. Like, it led to all these other things, all these traumas. When you have trauma, it leads to other things that hurt you, that are hurtful to you, even if it feels good, because, you know, it's a sin. And it broke his heart, because God never leaves or forsakes us. He was walking with me the entire time, and seeing how my life changed, seeing how just the different person that I was becoming because of my bad choices, because of my decisions. And to him, it's like, well, it didn't have to be like this, but now I got to watch and see you go through what you're going through. I got to see the hurt that you're feeling. And then on top of that, because we can't see the spiritual realm, he's seen more than what I seen. Oh, Lord knows what the spiritual realm, you know, what was attaching itself to me and stuff like that, what doors I was opening. You know, he has to see the destruction that you're doing to yourself, all because I chose not to heed his warning. And me seeing that and feeling that, and how like my decisions affects his emotions, broke my heart. You know, it made me feel bad about myself, and what, you know, being selfish, because that's what I was being selfish. I was being very selfish, and that hurt somebody else. And I'm not the type of person where I don't care about that. I care about if I hurt a person's feelings, knowing or unknowingly, you know. um I care, you know, I care about that, especially unknowingly. Like, I didn't know I did something, you know. I feel bad. I felt so bad, because he had to see that. He walked through everything that I went through. He was there, but it broke his heart. It literally broke his heart. It's no different than like a parent seeing their child just changing because of something that happened to them. It breaks their heart, especially if it gets to a point where your child becomes unrecognizable, you know. That's heartbreaking to a parent, you know. And God, Jesus, is the same way. It's the same way. So it just really changed my perspective, you know, of who God, you know, truly is, and how he feels, and, you know, the decisions that I make and the things that I do affects him emotionally. So yeah, um just wanted to, you know, share that with you guys. um if you've had any, you know, similar experiences, you know, get in the comments and let me know. But if you never thought God didn't, you know, feel, or that he didn't care, he cares. He cares a lot. like extremely a lot. And he loves us so much. Loves us so much. You know, that there's things that he don't want us to go through, but he gave us the free will to choose, you know, which is love as well. That's a beautiful thing too. He didn't make us robots, but he is affected by the choices that we choose to make. Even though he knows, but still, it doesn't change the fact that he wants the utmost best for us. He really does. He wants the best for us. Um, Even though he can clean you up, he can heal you, he can fix you. That's when he shows his best work. His best self is the redemption behind it. Um, which I feel is probably like a hooray for him. That's because he wants relationship with us. So for him to restore you, he does get pleasure out of that. But at the same time, to know that I had broke his heart, even though he could restore me, I still feel bad about it. Like, and I don't ever want to hurt him like that again. Like, I don't ever want to be so selfish or be selfish at all, just to, because we're supposed to become more like Christ as we walk with him. I don't want to hurt him like that. I felt real bad, y'all. I felt really bad because to see his tears, like tears in the room like that basically just told me, like, dude been crying for a while, like through this whole time. Like it just showed the level of his heartbreak. A room filled with a puddle water up to your ankles, literally, like, of just tears. It was heartbreaking. It was really heartbreaking. And so don't ever think that God doesn't care um about you, or it doesn't hurt him by the choices and decisions that we make in our life. Like it does. Yes, he gave us free will, but what we choose to do with it, you know it does hurt him when we choose wrong, or uh we choose to do wrong, especially if he's literally doing all he can to make it obvious that I'm trying to get to you, because he don't want nobody to go to hell. He really don't. So, like, I mean, even just think about that. Think about, like, the people that choose not to believe, the people that choose to be ignorant to his word, how that breaks his heart. Like, because he really don't want none of us to go to hell. He really don't. Um, but there's consequences in our choices and our decisions, and so if that helps any of y'all to, like, make better choices, better decisions, love more, become more like Christ, or even come to Christ, he loves you. He loves all of us. He man, he just has a love that's so unconditional, that is unlike this world, unlike any human being could be. It's really truly beautiful. It really is. And I just encourage anyone to get to know him and to stay strong in your fight, in your walk with him, because he's a beautiful God. Like, he's a beautiful man. He really is. And I'm just so thankful that he's been allowing me to experience the things that I've been experiencing with him. And it's only because I've been a willing vessel. That's really all you got to do. You got to be a willing vessel. You're going to go through the fire. It's not going to be fun, but what you get out of it is beautiful. It's very beautiful, you know? So, so yeah, y'all, let me know in the comments how you feel, if this video, helped you in any way or touched you. Um, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video.